started, first thing you do is you pull these off. Inside there is antifreeze, like RV antifreeze, the red stuff. And there's a stopper in there, a little piece of pipe that keeps it from draining out. And there's some foam in there so that if it does fill with water by some chance, if it does freeze, the foam will shrink. It won't pop the pipe or anything. You know, it'll help to keep it from popping because the foam will it'll crush instead of the pipe crack.
Yeah.
That's why we put that in there. And here's all the fixtures that go in there. In here, we put them in for winter. Where the hell are they? Oh, here they are, Max. In this bucket. Right in here. And they go a certain way, which I can show you once we get to that point. There's a certain setup. There's right there on that clipboard is a diagram of how they go. Also, it has the valves, which one operates which one. When you start this up, everything's on full and water's shooting everywhere. Mm-hmm. So you got to come in here while it's on, and you got to just play with those in order to get like the animals to stay inside the zone, which is that caulk line. You want everything inside that zone, all the water. You'll get a little bit splashing out, but you don't want it shooting out.
Yeah.
And you turn, you adjust those, so you got, you don't have the water shooting 20 feet out in the air. You only want it like this high, because those are for little kids. Mm-hmm. So you just got to play with it. Same at the other one, at Laramie. Basically the same setup, different computer, but same setup. And then, once you got that, you got to pump once you drain all those, okay? Got all that antifreeze in there, you got to drain it out. Pump right here, you switch this. Once you get this all drained out, you want to fill this up with some water, which I'll show you, so it pumps this junk out. Yeah. This is the winter setup. So it pumps it all the way down to the pit.
Okay.
This one you plug in when you start. And that float keeps the water at the level you want to operate. Okay, if you don't switch it, this will stay full of water all winter, and you don't want that. Okay. To turn the water on, in here, it's this guy right here. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's what it is. Okay, and then this should.
That's not hooked up on the outside stuff yet, right?
Yeah, but it should click. I'm trying to get this is the solenoid right here for it. Mm-hmm. There it goes. See? So now the water would be flowing because this little guy right here, it goes into a pipe. This gray line. Yep. It's dry, so it's turned on.
Okay.
And you could adjust it with your finger if you wanted to get water to come on. You could do that with your finger just by lifting it up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Okay. And in this box is the controller for it.
Okay.
Never had any problem. I don't think I've ever even opened this box except for the first year. It's always that. Okay. So that'll get the water on. You got the water in here. Fill it up halfway. Pump it out. Because you'll have to unplug that to fill it up. Mm-hmm. And then once it's filled about halfway, pump it all out. Just right into the sewer. And then shut that off again and set that up so it's ready for when you go to operate.
Yeah.
But leave that off until you're ready. Okay. And then we'll come in here. We'll get all this hooked up. This has got to be hooked up. All the pumps got to be. All the drains got to be put back in. O-rings for the filter. I had Leslie order. There's new filters, brand new filters in that box.
Okay.
For this year, so we'll be able to use those. The heater has to be turned off once it gets warm all the time.
Yeah.
And then that has to get turned on. That's the vent. It's on backwards, but it still works.
Yeah, right.
Should have been this way, but whatever. All the valves. See all the valves? They're all set.
Okay.
The only valve in here really ever have to move is the one for the heater. Okay, you got to turn it a little bit in order to come on because the water's moving too fast, too slow.
Oh.
So it doesn't get the pressure. So if you turn back one a little bit, it builds the pressure and then the heater comes on. And then you're set for the whole year. You don't have to mess with it again.
Yeah.
When you're filling or turning it on, that one right there, this guy, has to be closed. So you're filling the basket here with water to prime the pump.
Okay.
Once you put everything back, the cover and basket.
Get all the air out of it.
Once you, you'll do that on the filter. That's what this is for here.
Okay.
You turn this up, and all the air comes out, water shoots out, you shut it, and then you're good.
Nice.
But this valve, you have to close, and as you turn it on and open it. Not the other way, because you'll lose the water.
Okay.
Okay, it'll drain right back out. Okay, these guys, nothing. They're self-priming. This takes about 20 minutes to prime.
Yeah.
So they usually come in a half hour early and turn this on.
Okay.
The only other way to make it prime faster is there is actually a hose fed into it. I fed a hose into it the first year because I couldn't get it to prime at all. So we got it in there, but I haven't had to use it the last few years. I just let it run and it primes.
Okay.
It just takes a while. And this will be running the whole time, but it won't, it doesn't affect it. Even though the flow is very low, and they have it probably at 10 times the flow rate that they need to, because then they don't have to clean the filter as often.
Okay.
So if they run it properly, then they have to clean it more often because the pressure goes down. So that's why they keep it all the way up. And it doesn't hurt it to run it that way. You can have more flow rate, you can't have less.
Okay.
And the flow rate is listed on that white piece of paper in that envelope.
Gotcha.
And there's also one in the main pump room. And that's all labeled and stuff too in there. So you know what the flow rate is. That's the backflow, that goes right there.
Oh.
One's for Laramie, one's here. No, this one's Laramie, the green handle, I remember now. This is I'm pretty sure Laramie.
Okay.
I should have labeled it, but. No, he didn't. But I'm pretty sure it's Laramie. Same setup.
Where did that little one go?
That goes on one of these, because that will let you have water, I think, for the splash pad. This, I think, is the line that feeds the thing that's broke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think. I'll have to, when it's in the thing, I'll have a better idea.
Okay.
When it's in the pit.
Yeah.
This is the acid. I usually put about a half to 3/4 of a bag in here, filled with water. There's a paddle right back there to mix it. You gotta mix it, otherwise it'll all sit on the bottom and get hard.
Okay.
So you gotta mix it. I told her she has to have that, this little tube here, right there, that little tube.
Yeah, inside there?
Yeah, that has to be replaced. And it's right there.
Okay.
I usually have the guys do it from the chemical company, but if you wanna try and hack it, it's no big deal.
Okay.
I did break one once trying to fix it. I pinched it. There's extra ones in the pump room, but they usually come and do all that.
Okay.
How often do they
The
come?
chlorine guy?
When they come,
Yeah.
well, once they start, it's every week.
Every week.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they usually come a little early. I tell them to get here a little early so I have everything I need once I get going. And at that point, I ask them, "Can you please change those tubes?" And like every 3 years, I have them change the hoses.
Okay.
Or at least the fittings. If the hoses look good, at least change the ends. Because that's usually where you get the leak, the ends. You don't usually see this, in the middle of the hose.
Yeah.
It doesn't. So when you fill the pool, the hose, I think it's the blue one, I don't remember. But anyway, it goes in here. Right in here. Screw that down, tighten it, run it out the door. It usually gets to right about here, right about where the grass line is. Then I take those two hoses, those two tubes that we use to drain,
Okay.
fill it.
Oh,
I run
okay.
them underneath the fence right into the pool there. And you just got to lift the end up a little bit so it doesn't backflow out.
Okay.
And you got to do it while you're here. You can't run it like at night. It'll run out. Don't turn it all the way because it'll pull the hose off. Go slow when you turn it on until you get a
pressure.
feel for
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? You'll see the hose move a little bit. You don't want it because it'll come off.
Yeah, it'll blow off.
Yeah, don't try to fill it too quick. Okay, got that?
Yep.
All right, what else can I show you? Let's go in the pump room.
Yeah.
Pump's done! Hear that sound? Oh yeah, that's the pump done. See this box here?
Yes.
Nothing's hooked to it.
Okay.
Okay, it used to have automatic pumps down in there,
Yeah.
and they were always messing up all the time, and they were extremely expensive.
Yeah.
So we decided just to buy pumps at the hardware store and run them like you would at home, and they've been working fine ever since.
Nice.
So, we talked about that valve, which operates that, or that solenoid, I mean, that operates that valve up top. In here, there really isn't any maintenance or anything in here. There's nothing you really have to do other than check the oil on that, grease the pump, top and bottom.
Okay.
Don't worry about, put plenty of grease on there. You know, if it shoots out around the cover, who cares? Just make sure it's got enough grease. All these valves, these are how you control the flow rate, these 3 valves here. And I got them all marked. If you look up there, there's a little line or something. See here? And this guy's, this knob right here. On this guy, see the yellow mark right there? That's where you want that valve turned. But when the filter gets dirty, maybe you don't have time to change it, and the flow rate's off a little bit. You'll know. I'll show you what the flow rate is. You can adjust it, okay, to get you another day or 2 days.
Okay.
Because you know it's Friday and you didn't know you had to change it. Now you got to change it. You come in here, you adjust the handles a little bit. You can get another, 20 pounds out of it, and then you're good. Your flow rate, okay. This guy is all the water, okay? All the water that's moving is that one. And that controls the drive, which is on that white one on the wall,
Okay.
okay? So, in the beginning, and we have to get this adjusted somehow, you'll have to probably call the number on there and have the guy come out and reprogram that a little bit. I don't even know if you can do it, Chris. But I talked to Steve, and he said what you want to do is you want to run the pump at full speed for 1 minute longer than the filter is in recoat. Okay, I'll show you that in a second. So let's say the recoat time is 12 minutes. You want that thing to run full speed for 13 minutes. After 13 minutes, you want it to be operated by that. So then that'll drop down. The motor speed will drop way down because it probably runs at 25% of the speed that it needs to. I mean, 25% of what it has. These 2 valves, these 2 flow meters, this one and this one, they show you the water that is actually going into the pools. So this one shows the main pool, and that's what it should be at, about 836. That's what the inspector said.
Okay.
I usually have it somewhere around 900. And then this guy's at 50, and I try to keep him at about 100. Because you'll get 1,000 gallons a minute. I mean, yeah, 1,000 gallons a minute out of this. That's as much as you'll get. That thing runs 1,100. That's the max you're supposed to run it at.
Okay.
So it's right at the line. So you can play with it a little bit to get, if you wanted more in there, you could adjust this one. If you wanted more in here, like for example, let's say you come in and the wading pool is full of chlorine. It's at 10, whatever. What you do, you open the wading pool up all the way. So now your flow rate's going to be 400 or 500. Turn this one down a little bit to keep that up. That's going to flush out that chlorine. It's going to get into the main pool, and that chlorine level is going to drop down. But you can't have anyone in that water with that number, okay? If you have a high chlorine number and a low pH number, that's the worst. The worst. If you have a high and high, that's not good either, but it's not as bad as high and low. If you got high chlorine, but your pH is okay, it's in the zone, put them in the water. They ain't gonna hurt them. But not the wading pool, because those are little kids.
Yeah.
Not the splash pad, those are little kids. The main pool, you can have that. You can have a chlorine level of 10, as long as the pH is okay. That's what they do in Olympic swimming pools. You see them on TV, how crystal clear it is, that's because they have so much chlorine in there. If the pH is off though, nope, can't have anyone in the pool. You know, you can't do it. Now, when I say off, I mean off.
Yeah.
Above 8. They gotta get out until it comes down. The only way, I mean, you could buy chemicals for it, but you'd spend so much money. The only way to get the pH down is to increase the flow rate. So if the main pool, say your pH is way up there, you know, it's gonna pump, bring it down. But if it's low, there's nothing you can do. The time is the only thing that's gonna bring it up.
Okay.
You could pump in more chlorine, because chlorine will raise the pH, but then you might have a problem with your chlorine later, and you have no problem. So the best thing I've learned is to just, when it's that setting where you got low and high, just, you gotta get out of the pool. You can't have them in there.
Okay.
Because their skin, they'll get a rash, their eyes, all that.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks it's the chlorine. It's not the chlorine, it's the pH. That's what gets you. Okay? What else? That's a lot, ain't it? Mm-hmm. Maybe we should stop for today.